For the sake of being thorough, let me see if I can open up that emergency kit. As you can see, it's plenty worn as far as the bag itself, but it's what I've been using for quite some time and it's worked out up until now. So as you can see in here, I have some of the basics, just a basic little screwdriver set, different lengths, different, just the Phillips and the flathead. Some electrical tape, because it's always handy to have some electrical tape. Here is the flashlight that I mentioned I had in there. It does have that light on the inside. It's supposed to be water resistant, but first time I took out the batteries, there's a little rubber gasket that should be present, that little shiny gap right there. That's where it would fit. Well, it immediately cut off, so it didn't work, but the one time, I guess. And here are some 4 AA's that it takes in there. It's a decent light for what it is. Again, this was a gift that I received, so because it's a gift, I do use them. This is zooming in and out. Just get the, if you want more of a flood or more of a beam. Being that I don't have batteries for that, as I mentioned in my last video, I went to Walmart, picked up a few things to add. These gloves will be added. I will leave those in the glove box. I have those other cotton ones for now, but I have changed tires in the past. I used to have these. I ended up throwing them out. They got worn. But when you change a tire or something like that, I am the person who will pull over and help somebody else change out a tire. And it's just nice to not get your hands all nasty. Trying to help somebody, not just trying to get yourself dirty. And I did buy a little toolkit, but that's not for this. I did get some replacement plugs, the little cement. I'll take those out of the package just to save up on the space. I do have the handle already to push those plugs in, so I didn't have to buy that. Here are the batteries that I will be using for the flashlight. And I did get a replacement can of Fix-A-Flat. Very, very useful. It's the kind of thing that you want to get now versus later. You don't want to be trying to get that at the time that you're struggling. You don't need that added stress. So we'll be putting these in the car, and these I'll go ahead and put them in the kit in a minute. This is a little compressor. This little thing is good for filling up one tire. If you're completely flat, like on a tire, it will fill it up. It does heat up quite a bit. So by the time you fill up, a tire to 45, 50 psi, it'll probably shut down and you have to wait for it to cool off. But if you're just inflating your tires, adding a few pounds, you're fine. It'll do all 4. I've had that for years, and as you might be able to tell from this right there, it's got tape because at one point I did loan it to somebody. They were at work. They were adding air to, I forgot what machine. And of course, being that it's not theirs, they didn't take care of it. They ended up yanking on it and it tore that little hose. Fortunately, I was able to get that repaired. It's worked fine ever since. It does have some reflective triangles. I believe it's 2 of them in there. It came with the kit. I've never really used them. I would if I was going to be on the side of the road for some time and I wanted to make sure that, I was seen and don't want to run out my lights, maybe if I'm going to be there for a few hours. This kit also came with some jumper cables. These are not the original. These are some that I just recently purchased. Basic jumper cables, nothing fancy. I don't invest a lot of money into top-notch cables or top-notch tow rope. This one, I forgot how many feet it is. I think it's more than about 30 feet or so. It's a basic hook. I do want to get a recovery rope, the whole bungee, that way you're not yanking and slamming on the bumper and on the car whenever you get pulled. Fortunately, I've only had to use this a couple of times where I had to get towed or had to help somebody tow I've actually towed a car in my 2006 Honda Accord, which is crazy. Low speeds is all I can say. You'll get there. No one's trying to win a race when you're trying to pull another vehicle with a car that definitely was not intended to be used for pulling. So if I do get the recovery rope, I might replace that, but I think I'd rather do that once I have like a truck, because otherwise it's just more if someone has to take me out if I ever get stuck in the mud or in the snow. It has happened a couple of times. I have gotten stuck in the snow and I spun out, ended up going into the bank. The car had no traction whatsoever. My car was up to the trunk in snow. No way I could get out. Fortunately, the people who pulled me out did have a chain, so it worked out. At the time, I didn't have that. Now I do. The kit came with one, but it's a nylon one. It broke after one use. I wasn't even towing a vehicle. I was towing a pallet full of junk. I didn't want to carry it. It was the easiest thing to do. Hooked it to my car, dragged it. When I was done, I was taking off the hook and it just literally fell off. The nylon straps, I guess, were on the last ones, and fortunately it happened after I completed the job I was doing, but it just came apart. So again, all of these things that I think are practical have been put to the test. So I do know that I do need these things. And that they are extremely useful. I'm not just packing it with a bunch of junk for the sake of having it. Let me go ahead and open this. Oh, and a knife is something that I do carry. Because I do carry it with me, I don't have the need or feel the need to go ahead and put that in this box. I will probably put back the Gerber survival knife that I had. I like the idea of having just a full tang blade. Definitely not a folder. I don't need like a machete or anything else that's huge. But it's good to have some sort of blade. I used to have it in there, but I took it out because I just at the time felt why. But now I'm thinking, why not? These, I'll go ahead and just leave it in this. I'll just probably trim this. That way I can leave them in there. It'll avoid them just kind of peeling off and opening up. These, I'm going to go ahead and just take out the ones I need. If anything, I'll probably just leave this in there. I'll just fold it, put it all in there. I don't want to leave it in the flashlight. It's not a good practice. I've done that once before. Battery exploded in there. I took it out. The battery was obviously ruined and the contacts all had corrosion on them. I was able to use a light that I had at the time for just a few minutes, then it cut out, and after that it just never worked again. So yeah, definitely don't store any batteries in the device that you're intending to use it with. So again, these are just the basics of what I have. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there. In a second, I'll go ahead and bring back the tool that goes with that. All right, so that completes the kit. Emergency roadside setup that I have. Hopefully I don't have to use it. It's not the biggest thing. It's good to know that you have everything that you need for situations that might come up. I've had to replace my alternator. I was driving, light came on, I happened to be right by a parts store, so I pulled in as my car was shutting off because it only lasts a few minutes when you have a dead battery or dead alternator. Drains the battery pretty quick. And I was able to go ahead and change it there. Just bought the replacement. Fortunately, I had everything I needed. Just borrowed a tool, replaced it, was back on the road in about 30-40 minutes. Same thing with the tire. Tire goes out, you have the jack, you have the tools. Jack up your car, change out the tire or plug it up, whatever the situation demands, and be on your way. It gives you that little bit of security, that sense of security. Same thing for emergencies. If I ever get a cut, which has happened, not to me, but to coworkers, they got pretty nasty cuts, and the work kits are almost always empty. People steal things from them, which I never understood, because
if we get hurt, we are the ones that need those things. So what good does it do if you steal the belongings of the company, or band-aids, gauze, tape, scissors, whatever's in there? You steal it, take it home, don't have it with you. Now you're hurt and you can't get treated because you've taken the things that we had, and they're for everybody. Don't be cheap. You're gonna lose a job that pays you thousands a week because you don't want to go buy a $20 kit or just a band-aid or whatever it is that you took. So I never quite understood that. I just get things and I upgrade them. If anything, I might look at it and gives me an idea of what I want to do as far as, updating my kits. I'm not sure if you guys carry any basic tools in your vehicles. Let me know what you have. I'm curious because I know a lot of people talk about it. They'll have it, but they'll have it at home in the garage. They don't carry it like an everyday kit in their vehicle. In their vehicle, they might have a spare tire that they've never checked the air pressure on because it's underneath their vehicle or underneath the carpeting in the trunk. They'll also have things that they don't ever use. Like you might have something that you've never tested. Do you even know if it works? It's been sitting in your car for 2 years. So let me know what you have. Is it something that you really do carry, or are you lacking in that? Do you have the items, just don't carry them with you so that if something did happen, you're just SOL, or a small situation turns into a big one? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments.